Sorry about that first intro. I don't think I will put it for this one. Maybe I'll put it at the end as a blooper because it was an utter blooper. Um, Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I talk about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Duchess Meghan and her husband, the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry. I'm pro the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Okay, I love them, I admire them. And I recognize that not everyone feels the same way that I do. And in fact, there's quite a lot of negativity about them online. And if you're one of those people who thinks that they are the devil incarnate, it's okay. I welcome you anyway to listen to my point of view with the understanding that I'm not trying to impose my point of view on anyone. But I am of the school of thought, certainly at this interval and juncture in my life, that it's important to live and let live, right? It's important to be human. It's important to be compassionate and empathetic in life and with each other. And yeah, it's important to live and let live. And so, with that premise, I started this channel because I felt that, Meghan and Harry quite often get an unfair shake online and in the media. If I have lipstick on my teeth, I'm sorry because it's just comes out. Okay, I always have lipstick on my teeth. So, wow. If you are new here, welcome and consider subscribing to my channel. Right about now, just hit subscribe because you just think like, oh my god, I feel so sorry for her. If you are subscribing already, I'd like to thank you. I think as of today, I might have about, I think the last I saw was 60. Did I see 60? I think I saw 60, yes. And that's so that was a benchmark of mine. I think my next benchmark you would think would be 70, but I'm pushing right for the 100, right? I'm pushing right for 100. I'd like to have 100 subscribers. As soon as I do, I have to figure out how to get my subscription list to show me all my subscribers because I would like to send you some chocolates from Paris. Just nothing expensive. I don't have money. But just a small little chocolate to one of my random subscribers to say thank you so much. I love you so much and I appreciate you so much for giving me your air and your time. Okay, that said, um, and that was quite a long introduction. Today, in this video, I'm talking about, let's see what we're talking about. Duchess Meghan talks about the good wife and the good mom stereotypes. Okay, so on her podcast earlier this week, I listened to it on Tuesday and I wasn't able to discuss it then because I've been working on a project, as I said in the earlier video, that requires me to be focused just on that project, So I'm only getting to it now about the Archetypes podcast about good wives and good moms. Now, obviously, I'm not a wife. And obviously, I'm not a mom, so I'm not an expert on those topics. I don't know a thing about it. But I think what I hear her saying for women is that, it's so important not to be judgmental of each other. And it's so important not to sort of put so much pressure on yourself to feel like you have to meet a certain benchmark and a standard that is set by, I don't know, the perfect mom and the perfect wife. And basically, I think what I hear her saying is that there's no such thing as a perfect wife and a perfect mom. I don't know. I mean, as I said, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, those states of being are not things I personally have any experience with. I could say, though, that as a woman, I think one of the ways that you can be, for example, with motherhood, is, to a large extent, I think it might be instinct and nature, but I think a lot of it is also maturity and it's also education, and I think that while we can all gestationally carry children, I don't necessarily think we're all meant to be mothers. I think there's a very big difference between being a gestational carrier, somebody that can get pregnant and carry a baby to term and deliver it into the world, right? And somebody who can be a mother. And I don't think, unfortunately, that a lot of people understand that difference. The fact that you can gestationally carry another human being doesn't mean you should. And I think when we start talking about good mothers and bad mothers, um, that's something we need to also discuss or to think about, is that, are we equipped to be a good mother, right? You ask yourself personally, am I equipped emotionally and psychologically and physically and financially and educationally and socially and all these other leaves to take responsibility for another human being? I mean, I think that's a very, very important thing that goes to that whole discussion of a good mother, bad mother. And I don't even like to frame it that way, as good or bad, because I think that, most people fall into motherhood because they had sex and they got pregnant. I mean, they didn't sort of sit down and think about it and plan it with their partner and, prepare for it. I mean, more and more, I think women are doing that. But I think that for too many women, motherhood was really just, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm a gestational carrier and something is gestating inside of me, and that makes me a mother. And I don't really think that that is, um, something that women should continue to do. I mean, I think that, again, there's a big difference between being a gestational carrier and being a mom. And unfortunately, I think that to be a good mom, I think nature has really done a number on women, because I think for most women, the majority, I mean, and I'm not speaking for anybody, but I'm just saying, if ever in my life I could have been a good mom, it probably would be about now, because before now, I just was not equipped to be responsible for another human being. I mean, I didn't know who I am. I mean, even now I'm probably not equipped. I'm not equipped in every way. I mean, there's still ways in which I have no business taking responsibility for somebody else's life. But, at least I have enough wisdom and enough self awareness and understanding of myself and the world. And, even to some extent of children. I mean, and I say that, I'm not an expert in that department either. But I mean, I think so many people just have kids and they have no business getting involved, because, just telling your children, oh, I love you, and not really understanding, you know, what that really, really entails. It's like an action word, right? It's an action word that, you know, involves so much than just saying it, I mean, but it's not just even love, because I mean, love is not enough. It's not enough to love your children. Everybody loves their children. You need to be equipped to be a parent, really. I mean, this is very important. So when you start talking, as far as good wife, I mean, my Jesus, I don't know. I mean, I think to be a good wife, you have to pick the right husband, first of all. you know I think a lot of women, they get married, but as a former divorce lawyer, when I listen to people, it's kind of like, oh my God, how did you ever marry this guy, or this woman for that matter, in the first place? Again, that comes from maturity, that I think, nobody should get married before, I don't know, 40 even, because you know it's complicated. I don't know, I'm not an expert on it, but I think to be a good wife, first you have to know who you are. It's kind of like being a mother. You first have to know you, right? And then you have to find the right man. And the right man, there's something called be evenly yoked and so on and so forth. I'm not really into that so much, in the sense that for a lot of people that means, well, if you're black, you should, but black being in quotes, but you're black, you're married as a black person, because you're evenly yoked. You're white, you're married. You're rich, you're married. No, I mean, because you can be the same race and the same socioeconomic group, and live in the same village and this and the next, and you have no business getting married to each other. So I think being a good wife and being a good husband, or being a good spouse, is really first picking the right one, and that you do from having the right understanding of who you are and what you need first. Know who you are first. And then if you're lucky enough to find someone who matches that, like with Meghan and Harry, I don't know anything about their relationship behind closed doors. I mean, I can tell you that um, the public representation of their union is, I mean, ooh, I wouldn't trade places with Meghan as much as I love their couple, as much as I admire them, as much as I think that they're in love with each other. I mean, I would have done a different calculus there, and I would have said, you know what? I would have been a coward. I would have run for my life from the beginning with this one because Harry's a wonderful boy, but Harry does not belong to himself. Harry belongs to England. They think they own him the way they own like their little puppies and so on. And, he has to do what makes them happy, not what makes him happy. And because of that, as his wife, I would have known because when Meghan got married to Harry, I was old enough to know better. Like, so if I had married, if I were as young as she was or younger, I'd be, oh, this prince wants to marry me, and, you get married. But I would have done a totally different calculus at this point in my life where, because I know who I am and what I need, for example, tranquility. I need that. When I come home, I need that. And I can't have that because everybody's talking about me and thinking that my husband is too good for me or what. I would have done a totally different calculus. But the thing is that Meghan and Harry, just loved each other and they got married. Whether they were right or wrong to do it, I don't know. I support them because I support love, and I don't support this kind of bullying behavior that is being thrown at them. But at the same time, to be a good wife in a situation like that gets really complicated because, first you're dying inside every day when people are attacking you constantly just because you're with this person. And this person is feeling like he's dying a little every day because he feels bad. And I'm rambling. Look, I'm glad Meghan and Harry love each other. I wish them the best. But, to be a good wife and to be a good mom is very complicated. Know yourself first. Try not to get married or have kids before 50. At that point, you're old and gray and you can't gestationally carry a baby. So you're effed, basically. But voila. Did you get anything out of what I just said? Forget everything I just said. Forget everything I just said. I don't know anything about being a good wife and a good mother, okay? Subscribe to my channel if you're so inclined. I'd be happy to have you. See you in the next one. Goodbye.